Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video here on Jasmy. Obviously, had to make an update on Jasmy, alright? I tried to keep you all updated on the price action for Jasmy in general in my videos, but we also had some major news this morning, which I think most of you already know. The Jasmy community is usually very committed and very active regarding Jasmy. But we had some delistings, alright? Binance delisted a huge array of coins right here. Which I mostly agree with. I think Balancer maybe should not have been delisted, but outside of that, these are all shitcoins, unfortunately, and very manipulated as well. But huge list of coins, and Jasmy is not in there. All right, it almost seems like they almost delisted the entire list from the delisting vote, and Jasmy is not in there. Which, I mean, that Jasmy was in the voting process is already a crime, all right, because it shouldn't have been there. I mean, I have my critiques on Jasmy as well, for sure, but delisting a coin with that's actually building real products, has an amazing community, and still is pushing a huge amount of volume, that's crazy work, and that's well, as most of you know, that's also starting conspiracies. But like I said, Jasmy was not delisted, so that's great news. Now there's also some rumors about Jasmy potentially getting out of that monitoring zone or innovation zone. I'm not sure how it's called with Binance anymore. I think that's a possibility, but ultimately that's speculation. We don't know. Definitely, like it should not be in there, but still, we cannot really we cannot analyze or we cannot predict the price based on those assumptions. Like if Jasmy is going to get out of the monitoring zone, I expect to move into our next resistance level at 1.15 cents at least, but I think we have the possibility to even go to the previous month BOC right here at 1.02 cents or 1.25 cents. So that's my speculation, but for now it's most important for Jasmy in these very volatile and uncertain markets to see, well, what is this actually enough to get some more recovery, all right? Because we are in a relatively difficult situation with the news, because you could say, well, this was the pump because of the news, and now we can actually go back up. However, you have to, the main thing with news like this is you have to take into account how much a Jasmy delisting was priced in. All right, let's say that this entire move down was was pricing in the delisting of Jasmy. Then we still have much more upside. All right, and Jasmy was actually stable right here, and I think it was introduced in the delisting vote somewhere right here. Right, so there is the argument that we can move up much higher. You can also see right here, or at least I'll try to show you. You can see we had a break of structure here, the most important key level, even though it's not a major key level, but it's between 0.97 cents and 1 cent. 1 cent is a good level. So you can also see down here the volume that Jasmy reached is the highest volume since the bottoms we made the 11th of March, after which we had one of the biggest short squeezes. And we know that Jasmy is very shorted overall. A lot of information, I know, but it's all crucial, right? So the main thing today is going to be, is Jasmy going to be able to actually, we formed some imbalances here to the upside, so we'll most likely pull back a bit. But the main question is well, is Jasmy going to be able to hold this support, hold the break of structure? If the answer is yes, then that's a fair assumption to make, to say that we are going to go back up to 1.15 cents and that we have a possibility in stronger markets to go all the way up to 1.2 and 1.25 cents. And given the strength we've seen so far, especially the volume, the technicals right here, but also the news in mind, I would say this is most likely. Now, I do want to end the video by saying that would I take this trade? Well, maybe if we get a very clean pullback into 1 cent, into 0.98 cents, would I take this trade for now? Most likely not, because the entire market, the entire market right now is still very uncertain because of the fundamentals around the market. So keep that in mind. And if we have a major escalation in the trade war, for example, like Jasmy is going to crash as well. And that is something you have to take into account, regardless of the good news we had. But as long as you know that, looks pretty good right here. But those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know. And well, most of you know. I mean, I'm saying it's looking pretty good right here. I tell you how I see it, right? So usually when I think Jasmy is bearish, I'll tell you as well. So this is not one of those for those new. This is not one of those other videos just saying that Jasmy is going to 10x. I don't think so. This just looks most likely for now. Those are my thoughts. Have a great Tuesday and bye.